Welcome back to another Landscape Studio 7 tutorial. Today we're going to discuss landform and some topography settings. The scene I have open today is our spring tutorial property. And this is also a great scene to show because of the landform in here. So as you can see, we have a house set up atop this hill and our driveway going up some, pretty substantial landform here. So first I wanted to show you this, but now we're going to go into another model. And this scene here, we can go over some of my favorite tools. Click on the ribbon tab, Property, and you have a few different topography tools here. The first we're going to show is the height grid. To use height grid, I always want to go into Plan View. This way here I can really set my square or points. Now, we only have 4 points with the height grid. So usually it's, more or less a triangle, square, rectangle, things like that. So let's make a, 26 by 26 square here, or give or take. Right click, so you make that height grid. Go back into perspective. You can Z to zoom to, and you can see we have our square here. Double click and we have our points on the top, or our height grid points. You can adjust the points like so, and you can see the points increase on our height grid. The base height is your overall height of the entire height grid, and you can adjust the individual points by selecting these circles and turning them red. Now you can also do is hold down Control and click a whole row of these and adjust them all at once with your point height. So we can change that. Let's go to 3 feet, and you can see how they've changed. The height grid is great for some more, custom detailed things like that when you're, placing a home, and this is my favorite tool. Now, to add like a plant bed or something like that on top of this, you can go into Plan View, your landscape ribbon, plant bed. You can your point type to this 90-degree angle here, and you can simply trace over your height grid. And now you can see that it's mulch or plant bed, dirt, and you can change your your material here. Now we'll show you how to place the retaining wall and terrace when we go back to our spring tutorial model. First, let's review another tool. So pan over and go back into Property. Now we can use our Slope tool. Now again, I'm going to go back into Plan. I'm going to make another square here. So now we can see this is similar to a height grid, but this is really all about the slope here. You can see where my cursor is going. So you're going to kind of have this plateau, flat area here, and a slope up. Now I always like to lock the angle grid and use the rise over run. So the rise is how tall this piece of earth is by how long the slope is. So you can see that my run, or from the bottom to the top here, is 8 foot, and it's 4 feet tall. Now this is really great, so if you wanted to place a structure on top here, you always know what your slope or your rise over run is. And again, our last tool, pan over here, is going to be our region tool, another popular tool which I like to use. I recommend using the circle or curve point type here. So we can just quickly make something here. And now as you can see, it came in as sand. Now this is great for adding basically a region, say sand bed, mulch bed, a patch of lawn or something like that. You can change the bed material here to all different types of materials. You can change the scale of your material, and you can also adjust the angle. But you can also adjust the height, which is different from the bed tool, the plant bed tool. In a way, they're similar, but you can go up to 2 feet. You can see how it kind of create that mound effect, which is really great we use them for circle driveways and add some more dimension to our plant beds here. Now, another important feature to know is the difference between basically when you're creating your patio area, your pathway. is that in the building ribbon here, the patio and the walkway are very similar, where you can choose pavers and your coping and things like that. But the walkway tool will actually conform to the landform you have, whether it be the region, slope tool, or the height grid. So let's quickly just change this to, say, gravel or something, or mulch. Now you can see how there's this mound here in the middle. And what we're going to do is basically select our walkway. And you can see, even before I click, I right click to end that it's conforming to the landform here. And that can be really great. Again, to show, show slight landform, or when you're trying to, there's a slope up to something, and when the patio tool will just be flat right there, and you'll have to kind of play with a little bit more. So the pathway tool is a really great tool and often used as well. Okay, so let's go back to our spring tutorial here. And now I'm going to go over again my favorite tool, which was the height grid. And as you can see, I have a pretty large height grid here in this model. I double click on it, you can see all the points, and how I've conformed the points myself by selecting on an individual point and adjusting that height. Another really great tool that we do use often. Okay, so what I need to do here, I know that from this driveway there's a significant amount of landform still to this entrance, and I need to put in a retaining wall so I can create a terrace and steps up. So I'm going to go to my plan view, and I'm actually going to select my wall tool, and I know that I kind of want to follow this bed. I need to have like 3 or 4 steps up to my entrance, and I'm going to bring this retaining wall over here so this whole upper area becomes a terrace. So let's see how we do that. I always like to start with the curve point. So we're going to follow the bed here just like so. We're going to come in for our steps. We can change those after. I'll show you how. And make a nice curve off to the distance here. Now I'm going to double click on my wall here. You can adjust your points when you select them like so. And I'm going to control select these 2 points and change them back this 90-degree angle, because like I said, I want to put steps right here. So I want to make sure that they're conformed to, make them accessible for the step here. See how easy it is to change the shape and edit it like that? It really is an awesome tool. So I'm going to keep this selected. Now, because I already have my landform in here, I'm going to keep it selected so I can see it. It's just underneath, so don't worry about it. Just now adjust your elevation, and that wall will just come right back up like so. So I'm going to zoom back in over here, and I know I want my wall to be more like 3 foot tall. So I'm going to change the height of my wall, and again I'm going to bring up my elevation. So I'm going to bring it down just a little bit here. That's good. Okay, so now I have this 3 foot wall, but I still have this slope here. So I'm going to select my wall, and I'm going to cut terrace. Now what that's going to do is actually create, that terrace look. So as you can see, it flipped to the wrong side. Now again, we're going to select our tool, and we're going to flip cut direction, just like so. And now it's going to flip the opposite way, which we want. Here we go. So as you can see, I have this 3 foot wall here. It's going to have a kind of a flat area. Now it slopes a little bit more gently down to my driveway, and all behind it is retaining that earth. So it worked out perfect. So now you can see that by cutting the terrace and flipping the direction here, what I've done is flatten out this area, ready to install my path, and I've created this terrace, which is going to make it a little bit easier again to get up and use the grade from my driveway to my front entrance. Now a couple things you can do. If you want to drop this landform, this grade down, you don't have to double click on your height grid like so and adjust the points. What you actually want to do is have this wall here, right? And let's make the height, 3 foot 6 inches, okay? But now you're saying, well, now the height of my wall just went up, but I still have this, I have this area here, which I don't, that's a step right there. So now all you have to do is then just control the elevation of your wall that you have here. So once that adjusts the height there, so you can see there's just too much of a lip here, right? So we're going to select our wall and again adjust our elevation. Now when it gets into just inches like this, I'd like to just actually put in, a specific inch right there. So wait for that to adjust. Alright, and now we have even a flatter pathway entrance here. So while we're here, let's go ahead and how about make a step here. So I like to use a wall for a step. Go into plan view, start here. I like to use my space bar to keep that right angle, like so, and zoom to my step. I have to bring up the elevation here, like so. A little bit more. That's how you can create your step. Control C, Control V. Bring that step down here a little bit. And we can turn off the auto elevate for this specific task here. So every time I move it, it doesn't keep going back down. So we're creating our step like so. And just to get to the kind of finale here, I can line these up with the plan view. But I just want to show you how the walkway conforms to this existing grade here. Like so. So you can see our pathway follows this grade existing here, flattens because of our terrace. And there you go. So you've installed a retaining wall, a true retaining wall, created that terrace. And remember, if you want to flatten this out here, just up the height of the wall and then just lower the elevation, and you can make that terrace and that wall as large as you want. Alright, well anyway, that concludes our Landform, some Landform tools and settings, and hope this helps you in your next scene, your virtual property, and stay tuned. Thanks.